Hi, I'm Molly, the executive chef at Fox Valley Food for Health, and today we're going to give you some ideas for a Valentine's Day dinner. And our first recipe is from our Nourishing Community Cookbook, which is with our series affiliate partners, and we are going to be talking about this citrus burst kale salad. So the first thing you'll want to do is prep the kale for your salad. You can use any variety of kale. I personally like the long dark kale. It's also lacinato kale, but you can use curly kale if you find that. This has a long stem in it that is a little tough, so you want to cut that out if you're having it for a raw salad. So you can just go right along either side of that here, and depending on how big your leaves of your kale are, if it's really wide, you might have to do another vertical cut there, but these are not that wide. So what we'll be able to do is just take these and chop it into some nice bite-sized pieces for a salad. You want, when you're cutting any greens for a salad, to have them nice and bite-sized and not something so big that you're gonna have to take a knife and fork to it. The next ingredient we're gonna prep is our citrus. We've got some nice navel oranges here, and these are really nice and in season this time of year when you can't get a lot of other fruit. To segment these, you want to cut off the rind. So you want to cut off the top and the bottom, so then you're working with a flat surface. And then you can just go all the way around the orange. And you do want to get rid of the entire rind and the white pith that's on there, because that is bitter and you're not going to want that as part of your orange in your salad. So if you get around there and you still have a few little pieces of rind, you can kind of just go back around and cut that off. If you have a flexible knife, this is just a regular chef's knife, but sometimes you can get a flexible knife. Those are really good for this task. So then you'll have your oranges like this. So I'm going to give you two different ways you can segment this orange for your salad here. One is a little bit easier knife skills, and the other one takes just a few more minutes, maybe can look a little bit fancier. So the first one you can do is just take slices of your orange here, and then you have these nice, beautiful slices, and you can either quarter those for pieces for your salad like that, or if you wanted smaller pieces, you could just cut them in 6 there, but you can have some nice slices like that. Another way you can segment an orange is to take a smaller paring knife and go in between the membrane of each little orange segment here. And then you get these beautiful, maybe somewhat fancier orange segments with no membrane at all, so they're really easy to eat. And then once you get your oranges ready, we'll use these oranges to squeeze as part of our dressing that we're going to put part of one of the ingredients for our dressing. Next, for our salad, we're going to make the vinaigrette. And if you've never made your own salad dressing before, it's super easy and so delicious. So I've got some orange juice in here that I took from the end of our segmented oranges and just squeezed it in there. And this vinaigrette has garlic and fresh ginger. And you could definitely mince the garlic and ginger small, but I find if you have one of these microplanes, zester, it's really easy to grate your garlic and ginger. So I've got a garlic clove that's already peeled here. And this just makes it really nice and kind of melts into the vinaigrette. And that was kind of a small clove, so I'm going to do a second one. You don't want to cut yourself, so don't worry about getting that last little bit. You can always chop that and use it for something else. Or I often like to take ends of onion and garlic and put them in a freezer bag, and then when I get enough of them, I do broth. This is a knob or a piece of fresh ginger that I just peeled the skin off of, and we can do the same thing with this here. We'll just grate this right in here, and that eliminates you getting a big piece of garlic or ginger right in your dressing like that. And I believe this recipe calls for a tablespoon each of garlic and ginger. So you can modify that to your taste, put in more or less there. And then we're gonna put in a little bit of Dijon mustard, and Dijon is great in a vinaigrette because it helps emulsify and helps the vinaigrette come together. So we've got our orange juice, we put a little bit of salt and pepper in here, garlic, ginger, Dijon, and then we want to just slowly whisk in some olive oil in a thin stream. And the reason we do that is if we were to pour the olive oil right in, usually with an acid like orange juice, or if you're using lemon or any kind of vinegar, balsamic, if you just pour it right in, obviously the oil is just going to separate from the vinegar. And this kind of helps emulsify it, so you're just pouring in a thin stream, so you're breaking up those particles and moving it around in there, so you just don't have the oil and vinegar separating. And Dijon will help with that emulsification process. So we'll see, it just takes a couple minutes. A homemade vinaigrette you can keep in your refrigerator for up to a couple weeks, so you can make a big batch of this. And it's just really easy to pull out of the refrigerator and put on any salads during the week as well. So you can see we've got a nice, lovely vinaigrette there for our salad.